You guys just have to make sure about the red, the blue, right? Okay? It's on? Yeah. We're on?
We're on.
We're on. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to have a nice packed room for Hashem. We start off with 2 halachas of Lashon Hara, and it should stand Be'ezrat Hashem for the zchut of Klal Yisrael, for the refuah shlema of all of those who are sick and suffering in Klal Yisrael. Amongst them, Chagit Ranana Bat Sarah, Sarah Basia Bat Adina Hendel, Rebbetzin Sipora Heller Bat Sarah, and anybody else can just think of the names of anybody in need of Yeshua. Aviva Leah Bat Chana, Esther. For Shlema, Hashem should shower His healing. What? Yaakov ben Fegi and Sarah ben Bat Leah.
Moshe Sarah ben Leah.
Moshe Sarah ben Leah. Okay, I should have a complete healing, everybody. Just only good things. Amen. 2 halachas. Actually, I see here there's 3 on this page. Okay. The prohibition against Lashon Hara is neglected by many people due to 2 different ploys of the Yetzer Hara. Number 1, it tells us that the comment in question is not considered Lashon Hara. Number 2, alternatively, it tells us that the Torah permits speaking Lashon Hara against the person in question. Halacha number 2. Sometimes the Yetzer Hara employs the opposite tactic. It makes the laws of Lashon Hara seem excessively strict. A person is then led to believe that everything is considered Lashon Hara, and he cannot lead a normal life if he wishes to observe these laws. 3rd halacha. Furthermore, many people lack basic knowledge of the laws against accepting Lashon Hara. For example, many do not know that it is forbidden to believe Lashon Hara, even if one makes no visible sign of consent. For all these reasons, the entire subject of refraining from Lashon Hara has fallen to the wayside. People have become accustomed to freely speak as they wish without first considering if their words constitute Lashon Hara or Rechilut. We have become so accustomed to Lashon Hara that many people do not even consider it a sin at all. Zchat Hashem, in the zchut of really learning the laws of Lashon Hara, we should only see Yeshuot and Nechamot for Klal Yisrael. Amen. So forgive me, I have a little bit of the sniffles, a little bit of a cold. I may have to cough and stop more often for tea. I hope everyone would be patient with me. I usually try not to stop because it's a momentum that I know keeps going and going. But feel free to maybe raise your hand and say a question or a comment. It gives me an opportunity for a little tea break. It's fine. Okay. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe bo el Paro ki ani hechbadeti et libo. Parshat Bo, today's parsha. Hashem is with us. We're going to see today how to instill in ourselves by going and coming to Paro, how we can understand that Hashem is with us and that we are never alone. That's today's parsha and today's lesson. How do we feel Hashem's presence when we have to go and wage battle with Paro? First, let's understand what we are, the Jewish people. The Jewish people, we are messengers. We are messengers of Hashem. Hashem completed the creation of this world. 99.9% of this world was complete when He created this world. And He left a tiny percentage for us, the Jewish people, to put the finishing touches on this wonderful world, to perfect it, to improve it, to elevate it, and bring about its finish so that we can in fact be zochet to see a perfected product, a perfected universe. This requires a tremendous amount of koach. We need a lot of power. We need a lot of strength. We need fortitude. We need conviction. We need unwavering emuna and connection to Hashem in order to be successful in our mission, to in fact tackle the imperfections, reveal and uncover the hiddenness and the illusion and the facade that this world readily presents itself to us. And it requires a tremendous amount, like I said, of learning Emuna to remind ourselves that we are in fact here all on Mission Impossible, right? We are here on the unattainable. Really, when you think about it, Hashem put us in this world of coarse physicality and says, welcome to the world of godliness. I want you to perfect yourself. I want you to stop being impulsive. I want you to not go on your animalistic tendencies. I want you to become godly. And everyone looks at you and says, what? What? What are you talking about? That goes specifically against the rationale. And not only that, Hashem says, and I'm going to put you in this world, and you know what the basic rule to succeed in this mission of yours? Na'aseh v'nishma. Don't ask questions, okay? Listen to me. I put you here in this world, do your job, and don't ask any questions. And that is the key to your success. If you don't ask any questions, if you don't nudge me with your kvetching and questioning me every 5 seconds, why this? How come that? This doesn't make sense. Then you're going to be guaranteed to be able to succeed in your mission. And now we're going to see why. Tea break. That's why I need the honey. I need the propolis, right? And the bee pollen and all the stuff that's in the wonderful honey. There's enough in there, right? I got to shoot it. I got to add an injection. If we do our mission, this is an amazing teaching. If we perform our mission with true ratzon, with a willingness to really succeed in really fulfilling our jobs as servants of Hashem, we get endowed with what's called koach hamishaleach. Koach hamishaleach, the power is bestowed upon us from the Mishalech, from the one that sent us. In other words, Hashem says, listen, and we've spoken about this many times, but it's so beautiful to see this in the lessons that we learn so much, right, with the Emuna. Now you could really unravel them parsha by parsha and really see how Hashem has given us the story of our lives through the Torah every week in the portion. There's so many profound Emuna lessons so that we can really see all that we learned abstractly without really necessarily tying it to something particular in the Torah. Now we can actually see it. And we've spoken about this many, many times in past shurim. For whoever hasn't seen the shurim, you can go on TorahAnytime.com or the YouTube channel, and all the shurim are posted there. That when we are sent on the mission of living in this world, inhabiting this world, fulfilling our mission, bringing about tikkun olam, tikkun of our neshama, tikkun, collective tikkun, the rectification of the world, our own personal rectification. What we have is Hashem doesn't just send us into this world and say, bye-bye, see ya after 120, close the door and say, just report back after 120, tell me how your mission went. Hashem says, right, take me with you on your mission. And that's what's called koach hamishaleach. In other words, Hashem says, listen, I'm sending you as my servant to do the job, to be co-creator in this world. You are co-partnering with me on this amazing godly mission called Tikkun Olam. But I'm going to give you, and I'm going to endow, and I'm going to envelop you with all the necessary tools, the koach, the wisdom, the chokhmah bina dat, all avenues will be open before you, and you'll get koach from me. I will be showering upon you the necessary power and tools that you need to succeed in your mission on one condition: that you don't get in the way. Hashem says, don't get in your own way. You're going to trip over yourself. How do you do that? When you put inside the mission your ideas of changing the plan. If we decide, Hashem, with all due respect, I really love you. I think you do a great job at the world, and I really would not change places with you. Kol hakavod. But I think if you would ask me, I think you really should have done things this way, that way, or the other. Putting our rationale, putting our 2 cents in, putting what makes sense and what doesn't make sense into the whole idea of us fulfilling the mission serves as a barrier. It clogs the pipeline. It doesn't allow us to go and fulfill our mission successfully. And that is a very important factor that we have to constantly implant in ourselves. I don't want to get myself in the way. I don't want my ego, and that is like in Kabbalah, that is like the number one thing that Kabbalah addresses, is just crush that ego. Crush the me, I think better. Crush the my ideas or my thoughts. Crush the my opinion or my intellect. Crush it. It has no room when you're on a godly mission. It just interferes, it creates static, it doesn't allow the message to come through, it disturbs the koach, and then we say, but Hashem, I have no more koach for this, I can't deal with this. Of course you can't deal with this, because you didn't allow for all the tools to come through. You put yourself in the middle, you complained, you kvetched, you gave me your thoughts, you tried to convince me otherwise, and so it's all disturbances. If you want to get 100% of my koach, what's called koach mishalech, if you want 100% of my koach, then just be 100% my servant. Just 100% emuna pshuta. Just do what you're told to do. A soldier, a good soldier, is defined by how loyal and how quick he is to do what the mifaked, the commander, told him to do. If a soldier's going to start asking questions, the commander's going to say, go over here and stand guard. But why? There's nothing really wrong over there. It seems to be quite quiet over there. It seems like all the balagan is happening here. Don't you want to put me... Hello? Do what you're told. Do what you're told, and that's when you're considered a good soldier. That's when you're going to get all the backup that you also need. But if you're going to put yourself in the way and you're going to question it and constantly have reservations, that is going to block the channel of receiving what's called koach mishalech.
So I don't think that that would be so hard if the mission plan was so laid out. But I think there's a certain part in our life where we're supposed to take an active role and change things and create things and bring things to the world. So, that's where, a person could say, oh, stick with the plan. No, but who says there's a plan? Maybe I'm supposed to become the main actor here. I'm supposed to be doing something.
Very, very good point. Very good point. But again, this is what Emuna 101 is, a humbled heart. A humbled heart saying, I don't see really a precise plan. I just see a whole bunch of chaos. But it's okay because there's one source. Even the chaos is coming from one source, which means there is order to this disorder. So if I'm not sure what I need to do in all this chaotic mess that I'm in front of right now, that's where the humbling heart comes in and say, Hashem, I want to be a loyal servant. I just don't get it. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. But that's like number 4 on our Emuna button, right? What's the message? What's the plan? I first have to go through the first 3. Humbling heart, it's all from Hashem. Hashem, you love me, you're my Father, which means number 3, it's all for my best. Then I can ask the question and come to Hashem with tefillah and say, okay, Hashem, what's the mission? I'm ready. But I have to be, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, is I have to have this desire to want to do the right thing. Even though I
think that because of your just starting it, it could sound a little bit, maybe that's what a misconception might be, like, it's almost sounding like, oh, we're just supposed to be robots, but that's not what you're saying.
No.
So I know.
Is that how it came across? I'm sorry.
No, it's just saying, no, it's not that I'm saying it could sound a little bit like, well, you just do whatever the Gadol do whatever, and you don't have, that's not what you're saying. You're
okay, so I'm going to, you're right, I should clarify. Okay, so the idea is when I say, do your mission, it means that if Hashem gave me a nudgy husband, a lazy husband, angry husband, kvetchy children, annoying children, children with, not to say that annoying is ADD, but ADD kids, or, with this disability or that limitation or another, it's because that is what I needed to fulfill my mission. And so, for me, if I come and I complain or I question or I put my intelligence in the middle and say, this rationally doesn't make sense. I think that I could do so much more, but I'm limited. For instance, I could say that with my MS. I could say, well, Hashem, I could be doing so much more. I could be, doing so much more with teaching Emuna if I didn't have this limitation called MS. I could really be doing 5 shurim a day instead of 1 or 2 because I'm limited. There's only so much koach that I have every day. And so the idea is I should not be questioning my limitations, my circumstances of my life. I should understand that it is from here that Hashem wants me to serve Him. I'm on a mission from these circumstances, from me battling with sadness, from me battling with a child who's dwindling, from me battling with a husband who gives me a hole in the head, from whatever I'm dealing with. That's what I'm here to say. And so I should understand that they are part and parcel and vital. They're vital parts of my life to fulfill my mission. Now again, it doesn't mean Emuna 101 is I accept today, but daven for a better tomorrow. I could still ask Hashem, okay, I understand, I want to fulfill your mission, and I know that all the challenges are there to elevate me. Help me maybe become elevated in a more Rahmanis way. You know what I mean? I understand that the challenges are good for me. I understand the circumstances are there to push me to fulfill my mission 100%. But Hashem, I got the wake-up call. I understand. You're part of my life. I want to have a relationship with you. I understand I have a bigger job, a greatness that I need to fulfill in the scheme of the world and within myself. But maybe I won't, act with me with Rahmanis. What do we say, tefillah? Tefillah is like a beggar coming to the door with Rahmanis. Please, please save me. I'm going to die if you don't give me a drink right now. That's the way I come to Hashem. Hashem, save me. Have Rahmanis on me. You know, I'm a person. I'm doing the best that I can. And we beseech Hashem's Rachamim so that we don't have to go through all the hardships to be able to fulfill the mission.
But how do you know when you said sometimes you have to mekabel din Hashem ba'ava and say this is what I can only do 2 shirim and not 5? How do you know when it's a challenge and when you need to accept
Okay, so when it's hard for me, I'm not a masochist, right? I'm not looking to go through a life of suffering. So, of course, I'm going to ask for Hashem to always act with me with Rahmanas. But on the other hand, I accept it. I accept the deen. There's a tefillah. If nobody has it, I have to get the tefillah. I have to make copies of it from Rabbi Chaim Lijans. And he writes that every morning a person's supposed to say this tefillah. Tzaddik ata Hashem al kol ha'ba'alai ki emet asita v'ani shati. Right? The idea of justifying upon yourself the deen. Hashem, you make no mistakes. There are no mistakes. You're not just angry at the world and so you punished me today. You didn't just throw me a rotten egg. There's a reason why I'm going through what I'm going through. So, of course, I'm always going to beseech Rachamei Shamayim, but at the same time, I know if I'm going through some suffering, I must have done something. I must need this cleansing. I must need this wake-up call. I must need this challenge. For whatever reason, and that's a whole shiur in itself of why people go through challenges and hardships. But the idea is to justify the ways of Hashem. That is what is vital, and soon we're going to see why. Why that's important.
That's what I was going to say. I think what happens is sometimes we get confused and we think that this is not really what Hashem would have liked. Like if I have a difficult child or a difficult situation, Hashem doesn't want them to be like this. But we have to always remember that if it's happening, it is what Hashem wants to happen. It's just a nisayon for me.
Right. And at the same...
And for the other person, right.
Right. And so actually...
We start to think, but Hashem doesn't want you to do this. Who says? I think Hashem doesn't want it to happen or to be like that.
No,
I want to think that Hashem wants us to.
Let me say what's really important. What does Hashem want most of all? You know what He wants? That we maintain free will. That is the most important thing to Hashem. You want to know what that's the whole purpose of this world. If free will is taken away from us, there is no purpose to this world. That was the whole purpose of this world, is for Him to create a space, a vacuum in existence, where Kiva Yachal, as if He took Himself out of the revelation, the revealed aspect and plane of this world. And so the idea is, if free will is compromised in any which way or matter, this world loses to a large degree the purpose.
But free will is sometimes, I know you want to say it isn't, but like in the Holocaust and with slavery in Egypt, there was free will, yes, you could think in a certain way positively, but you don't have free will to, like the Holocaust, they didn't have free choice to go and daven and, have a Shabbos meeting.
The free will is in accepting it, is accepting the Gzar Din.
Yeah.
That's the free will is in accepting the Gzar Din. You know better than me. I pray that you have Rahmanis on me because I'm a human being, Hashem, and you're my Father, and you love me, and I love you, and I know there's no one else in the world who can help me. I'm lost without you, Hashem. You send me in this world, and I know you're here with me. Help me accept it. Help me understand. Help Hashem that the Gzeira, the Nisayon should be quickly over with. We don't ask for the nisayon to end because we understand, if we really understand that each nisayon is for our better, you're not supposed to ask for the nisayon to end. You're supposed to ask Hashem, we're talking an elevated, elevated level, Bezrat Hashem, we should all be able to reach is we ask Hashem to be able to bring about the tikkun in a different way with more rachmanus. That in the schut of the godliness, the consciousness, the wake-up call that I've heeded now, I've heeded the message, then I don't need the nisayon anymore. In other words, I've been able to achieve that which the nisayon would have given me without the yisurim, without the difficulties. We understand that behind every nisayon we need it. It's healing for us. You don't want to tell someone, okay, I'm not going to take the medicine. Okay, you don't take the medicine, you're not going to get well, right? I know that this is medicine. I know, but Hashem, let me just be able to just pluck my nose, drink it down, and not even feel it. That's what I'm asking Hashem. Let me just be able to swallow it quickly, let it go really quickly, and be done with it. And I should be my new me. I should be the one that's waiting for me after the nisayon. I should, it should just pass really quickly. And help me through it. Help me through it. Help me feel you taking me through it. And so this is exactly what we're learning here from this week's Parsha. Bo el Paro, come. What Moshe Rabbeinu is petrified. 7 plagues, and Paro is not budging. He's not budging. Go, don't go. Go, don't go. Go, don't go. Give me a break, Paro. Come on, you little pitzpon. You know how big? Do you know how big Paro was? Paro was this big. That's his whole height. He was a midget. He wasn't even the size. If you put him on the sidewalk, on the pavement of the street, he wouldn't reach the sidewalk. He wouldn't. That's how small he was. Yeah, the Midrash tells us he was this small, and yet the whole world was under his power. Everyone was petrified. That's the illusion. That's the illusion. This whole world is an illusion. The evil, everything looks like so out of proportion, and oh my God, it's all a facade. It's all an illusion. And so Moshe Rabbeinu is like, what is going on? And so Hashem says, don't worry. Hechvadeti et libo. Hechvadeti, but now I'm even more worried. What do you mean? You harden his heart and you're telling me not to worry? You're telling me to go and come to Paro? What do you mean? And Hashem says, there's another midrash that teaches us, Hechvadeti et libo means not that I necessarily harden his heart meaning that he would be stubborn, but I harden his heart with more pride. Hechbadeti from kavod. I added more pride and vanity and arrogance in his heart. And we're going to go through some reasons why that might have happened, because I know this is a big question in the whole free will thing. Everyone always questions this, how do we have free will if Hashem, plays with people's hearts? And so, but the idea is Moshe was told, I want you to go to him. Don't be afraid. Why? Bo. Hashem is saying, when do you say bo? When do you say come? It means I'm already either going, I'm inviting you to come. Hashem is saying, bo, come with me. Come with me to Paro. In other words, Hashem said, I know you're scared. I understand you're frightened. But you're not going alone. Don't you understand? You're not going alone. This is the same thing that we have in our lives. Hashem says, you have to fight Paro in your own life. Every single one of us has a Paro, has a Moshe, has a Avram, Yitzchak, Sarah. All the tzaddikim are all inside of us. We have those spiritual energies and channels inside of us. Hashem says, don't worry. Your mission is to go ahead and fight against Paro. But Bo, I'm telling you, you know where you're going to find me? The Midrash says, where was Hashem? Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, go to the innermost chambers of Paro. I want you to go to the point of his strength, the core, like if you can imagine this core of evilness, the great source of evilness and pride and vanity and arrogance and all the horribleness and evilness. That's where Hashem said go. He's not just telling him go, he's saying go to the deepest, darkest, lowliest place on earth and go and tackle him from there and destroy that evil. And then Hashem says, bo, that's where I am. That's where Hashem is. Hashem is with us in the lowliest, most despicable, most horrible places of ourselves. And Hashem is yelling out every day. There's a bat kol. Every day, sheyotze miha chorev from Har Sinai. Every day there's a bat kol. A voice that cries out from Mount Sinai. And what does the bat kol say? Exact words. If I find it, because I jumped. Basically it says, woe unto my people, I'm paraphrasing, woe unto my people who have disgraced the Torah. And this is the voice that Hashem, the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh says, this is the voice that Hashem wants every single one of us to heed every day. Hashem says, okay, I sent you on a mission. I sent you on a mission. You didn't fulfill your mission. This call that Hashem gives out, the bat call that comes out every day, renews the contract and says, come, renew the contract. Fulfill your mission. And guess what? I will be with you. I will give you the koach. And the way you're going to get the koach, the way the words, I can't take it anymore, how can you stop those words from coming out? Don't disturb me on my mission through you. Don't interfere. Step aside and let me do my job. Be a good shaliach. Be a good messenger. Be a good servant. Don't ask questions. Do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, then come and ask me. A good soldier doesn't know. He picks up his walkie-talkie. Hello, the faked, where exactly did you tell me to stand? Does he, right? Right away go. Go to Anshe Kesher. Go to the top guy. Ask him. Be in contact. That's what Emuna is. Being in contact with Hashem. Hashem, help me fulfill my mission every day. Every day I daven Hashem, help me fulfill my mission. Help me pay attention to the ikar and not the tafel. I want to pay attention to what's important. Don't let me get sidetracked with all the garbage and all the stupidity and all the illusions. I don't know exactly where I'm supposed to go. Just lead me. I want to be a clean vessel for you to lead me. I don't want to step on my own toes. I want to be able to fulfill your mission 100% with like a loyal servant. And so let's just talk just for a moment and see what was the whole idea of these makot. And then we're going to understand of what it means to fight paro. What does it mean to fight paro? To fight our inner paro. We're going to talk about this towards the end. What is the paro inside of us to some degree? The idea is that the purpose of the makot had in particular two main purposes. One was, let's understand, and we've spoken about this before, and it always goes back to the time of creation, the shattering of the vessels, and that the sparks of holiness were scattered in the whole world, and that within everything that's physical and materialistic in this world, like for instance this table, this cup, this book, this magnet, everything physical, everything that has a life force to it, has a klipa, has a spark of holiness, and has a spark of potential to be evil, right? It's called Yetzer Hara. It means it has the potential to be bad. Yetzer Tov is Yetzer Tov. Good is good. But Hara means that it could be that this table could be used, God forbid, for wrong things, right? It could be used as to see things that are not kosher, God forbid. It has potential to do this and to do that. Everything in life has. We can use money for good, we can use money for bad, right? We can use our kavod for good, we can use our kavod for bad. Everything has the two sides. That's free will. That we have that choice of what to use it for, right? That's free will. Hashem said, even in Mitzrayim, there's some sparks of holiness that need to be extracted, that needs to be, to lead, that you need to take with you in order for you to reach that place of Eretz Yisrael, okay? So even that, and so some of the things we could see is, for instance, the Erev Rav. Erev Rav came out. They had a little bit of holiness. They had a little bit of submissiveness to Hashem's, right? They saw all the grandeur wonders of Hashem. And so they walked out. That was big chizuk for a lot of Am Yisrael. Wow, the Mitzrayim are actually converting and they're coming along. It doesn't matter that later on, of course, they turned and that they're the source of a lot of our problems today. But the bottom line is there was some goodness there. Also the gold and silver, right, that they walked away. The wealth that they walked away with, what was it used for later? To build the Mishkan. Right? So in every bit of material physicality, there is always some good that can be extracted and can be applied and used for the good. So that was one reason for the whole plagues and the whole idea is that we had to, through the process of Yisurim, be able to extract the goodness. Also, what a lot of goodness came out of Am Yisrael. They were able to increase their Emuna. They saw that Hashem was always with them. No matter how low they were suffered, they saw the wonders. They saw the miracles of how Hashem really singled them out, and the plagues affected the Mitzrayim and didn't affect them. So of course, that was the goodness also that was extracted from the bad. Number two, another big reason for the makos was that we have to understand once that goodness is actually extracted from the bad. What are we left with? What do you do with after you peel the orange? Usually you don't use the orange peel unless people who are Moroccan and like to cook the orange peels. Does anyone know this? You usually cook the Moroccan peels with sugar and stuff, and it's really actually quite a ma'adan. Anyway, we could change recipes later. But the bottom line is you throw it away, right? There's no need for it. And so Hashem, in His infinite wisdom, had to bring about the total destruction of evil. He wanted to take whatever good sparks there were there and then destroy totally Mitzrayim, which is, by the way, another reason why he had to harden the heart of Paro, because he saw that eventually he would not come back to tshuva and he would not be willing to relent. And no matter how much you would crush him, he would still remain evil because the core was still full of evil. So he took Hashem, so to speak, in his infinite, extracted whatever good needed to be extracted. But now what do we do with the shell? It had to be totally destroyed. And so the plagues were meant to totally leave no more trace of evilness from that particular part of the world. And so that was another reason why Hashem had to bring about the makos. Let's talk just one moment. I said that I was going to talk about this, about the whole idea of hardening the heart. So the Rambam brings down actually in Hilchot Tshuva, and he writes, a wicked person who refuses to do tshuva will ultimately lose his freedom of choice to do tshuva. This is part of the judgment against him. And we're going to say this one more time again, but that comes from the pasuk of Baderech Adam Watzeh Lalechet, right? Sham Molichim Oto. We're going to talk soon who are these Molichim that are actually, guiding him. What are these Molichim? But the bottom line is, if we show Hashem that we are on a certain path, don't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised if someone is not going on the derech of Hashem and is in a rebellious place in his life, that God forbid he's susceptible more to being chosen to be a bad shaliach of Hashem. In other words, if that's the derech that this person is choosing, he's creating that reality for himself, and unfortunately he may be destined to fulfill that where he's going towards. He's showing that that's where I want to go, and Hashem steps away and says, oh, okay, that's where you want to go. I'll leave you up to the course of nature, and that's where they're going to take you, because on Pi Teva, and in a natural perspective, if this is where you're going, then this is where you should continue to go. And so that's the whole idea. So what we have to understand is that the wicked are not given a chance to do tshuva if they themselves, at one point, they're going to, that opportunity to turn back will be taken away from them. Hashem in His infinite wisdom decides when and how, His own cheshbonot shemayim. But the bottom line is we have to understand Hashem didn't just harden His heart. Hashem waited 7 plagues. Imagine the Rahmanis that Hashem had time and time again. Another plague and another, and each plague harder and harder and harder. And please, Paro, come back to tshuva. Please, Paro, come back to tshuva. Didn't happen. Interestingly enough, it happened on the 7th plague. 7th plague, 8 is above nature. It happened after the 7 plagues. That's the realm of this world. Hashem gave him every opportunity, al pi teva, according to natural law, for Paro to come to return from himself and budge and retreat from his evil ways, and he did not. And so Hashem said, okay, that's it. Evil is really here. We've extracted whatever good we can. Now we've got to destroy it. We've got to destroy it and leave no memory more of it. And where did we go? Where does Am Yisrael go from here, from this place of Mitzrayim? They go to an Eretz Rechava Tova V'Rechava. From Mitzrayim, after we leave Paro, after we leave the restrictiveness and the constraint and the oppression, where do we go? We go to a place of freedom. What is freedom? What is this place that's wide? From a place of narrowness, Mitzrayim, to a place of widening. What is this freedom? And so Chazal teach us that what is really freedom? Freedom means that I have no boundaries holding me back. I can be who I choose to be. Now, that could be used for the bad, right? Because we said everything could be used for positive, and it could be used for negative. Freedom means that I could express myself to be the real me in whichever way I feel that I'm meant to be. Now, Hashem said, who's the real you? The real you is your neshama. The real you is the neshama. All the rest is a facade. You think the real you is your body. You think the real you is this world and the hanaot, the pleasures of this world. No way. You know who you really are? You want to really be you. You want to really taste freedom? Live up to your greatness. And here we come back to what we started with. Fulfill your mission of greatness. Fulfill your potential to become a godly agent. And by doing so, you are truly free. You are in control of fulfilling your potential to be godly in this world and not to succumb to the impulses of your body. Because if you're a slave to your bodily impulses, then you're really not free. And the world, this world has it all mishkababel, has it all upside down. Free means I could do whatever I want. No, because you're still at the whims of your own nature. You're still at the you're being oppressed by your own paro. And so the idea to free myself from, what's that paro in me? That paro is the restrictiveness, the confinement of me thinking that there's only this reality. It's putting me down to thinking that all I need is my body. It's restricting myself to thinking that all I need is this world. The only thing that matters to me is this world, is the here and the now. That's the narrowness of paro, right? The whole tarbut yavan, the whole idea of just thinking of rationale. And I read this amazing thing. What is mechkar? Mechkar is how do you say it? Is a study, right? It's called a research, a study. What does it mean? How can you express it and understand what it really does? A mechkar? Mechkar is the epitome of Western culture, right? What I see is what I can investigate, what brings out, what's the conclusive bottom line of my mechkar, of my study? That's Western civilization. What is it? Mechkar is moach kar. It freezes the mind. It actually restricts the mind. It creates a brain freeze where you can't even think beyond that which is written. You can't think beyond. It's like you see it and that's it. No more. That's it. Right? Sechel from the word keshel, from failure. Anytime we don't understand, every time we only confine ourselves to that which we know, we understand, that we see, that's produced to us, right? As the Western world likes to teach us, we are limiting ourselves. We don't understand that there's a grander, bigger, godly picture and potential for every single one of us. That is Mitzrayim. That is Mitzrayim is constrictiveness, it's constriction, it's putting us into one shell. Bavel is from levalbel, it's confusion. That's one of those times when I'm confused. There's each exile gives its own, restrains us in its own way. The idea is to break free from all that bondage, to invite, to say, Hashem, I know you're with me. Hashem is all the time letting out that bo, that bat kol, saying, come into that paro. What is that paro? Paro, let's look at this. When did this whole idea of Bo come in? Towards the end of all the plagues. The second to the last of the plague is called darkness, right? The plague of darkness. Darkness, al pi Chazal, according to Chazal, teaches that darkness is sadness. It's disparity. It's not anticipating a good future. It's losing hope. It's living life with such darkness that there's no end. I'm stuck here, and that's Mitzrayim. That's the constrictiveness of no hope and Yeshua. No, nothing's going to change. This is my reality. I just have to accept it for what it is. What we need to understand is, after all, if we don't put ourselves in a position where we understand that the plagues are there in order for us to uplift ourselves, if we don't use the opportunity to understand that the plagues, the challenges so-called, the difficulties in our life, the things that, so to speak, destroy certain aspects of our life, if we don't realize that it's for our benefit, we end up falling to one of the harsher plagues, and that's called darkness. Darkness is a place of despair. It's a place of sadness. It's a place of losing all hope. After 120, we all know that there are questions that are going to be asked to every single neshama. And one of them is, Tzipita vekivita leyeshua. did you hope and anticipate for the Yeshua, for the redemption to come? Chazal always teach us that means, of course, did you await Mashiach? Did you wait for him on the horizon? Did you look out every day? Do you have your pom-poms ready to be, cheering along the lines when Mashiach comes, right? Do you know your 5 brachas when the Mashiach is going to be, when you see and greet Mashiach, do you know the 5 brachas? That's all anticipation and preparation and really expecting it to be my reality. It's going to come any moment now. It's going to come, Bezrat Hashem. The idea is, there's another way of also looking at it. And Hashem says, Tzipita leYeshua, did you live your life with the anticipation that in your life, in your own life, you were plagued with boils, and you were plagued with dever, and you were plagued with blood, and you were plagued with hail, when sometimes things just seem to be knocking on your head, and where is it coming from? All of these plagues, they plague our life. They're part of our reality. We each go through these plagues. And Hashem says, Tzipita leYeshua, did you live in that reality where you anticipated and you hoped that I was going to come and save you? That is going to lead you eventually to the end of all the plagues, and at the end of the 10th plague, what comes? The redemption. But if I get stuck in that plague, that's my peril that's restricting me and not allowing me to see redemption, not allowing me to see that Hashem is in charge and that He's leading me to my geula. He's leading me to my redemption. I fall into a place of darkness, of sadness. What is sadness? Sadness is a lack of emotion. Sadness is a place. What is an emotion? Emotion means it's a response that I have towards someone else. That's what an emotion is. Emotion means my response to this person or that person. Sadness dulls the emotions. It leaves me motionless. It leaves me hopeless and in my place. What happened in the plague of darkness? Adam lo yachal lirot et chavero. When I'm in a place of darkness, I don't see anybody. I don't care about anybody else. I don't want to know about someone else's tzuras. I don't care if I don't see my brother's pain. What does darkness do? What happened in darkness? The people who were standing couldn't sit. The people who were sitting couldn't stand. You couldn't see beyond your finger. You couldn't see anything. It was pitch. It's a blackness. They say that we can't describe. It's not like you could turn off all the lights and say it's dark. No, no, no. It was darkness beyond any reality that we know what darkness is. That's what sadness does. That's what the plague of darkness, of sadness does. If we don't confront our plagues, we end up sitting in darkness. Without Emuna, we end up sitting and we can't move. We're stuck motionless in our place. We lose total touch with reality. We don't care what goes on in the world. We're motionless. What we need to do is say sadness has no place in my life. What does have a place in my life? Let's look at the Seder. The Seder says we should take bitter herbs, right? And we should eat it. Why am I supposed to be tasting bitterness in the Seder that's celebrating my redemption? And so the Alter Rebbe, that his Yertzeit was, Zchuto Yagen Aleinu V'al Kol Am Yisrael last week, the Alter Rebbe, Zatzal, says, do you know what should be really at the forefront of your emotion? Should be bitterness. What's the difference between bitterness and sadness? Sadness leaves me lifeless on the couch. It puts me in a place of darkness where I don't move. Bitterness is a reality where I say, I have to remove myself right now from my reality. It's a place that moves me. It's a place where I'm so bitter, I'm despising my reality. I'm saying to myself, this is unacceptable. I no longer accept my reality. And we've spoken about this a few times. I know Liora questioned this a few times. Are you allowed to say to Hashem, I don't accept my reality anymore? Are you allowed to say that to Hashem? It sounds almost brazen. Rabbi Nachman calls it azut de kutsha. It's a holy chutzpah. That's what Rabbi Nachman calls it. Azut de kutsha. It's a holy chutzpah. It's saying to Hashem, Hashem, I love you. I love you. I know you could do anything. You're the master of the world. And I'm asking you, please, right now, change this reality. It's bitter for me. I can't live in this reality anymore. I'm bitter. I need you to step into my life. I need you to hug me. Put the charoset, right? We want to envelop ourselves in sweetness. Envelop me in sweetness so that I can get through this bitterness. I can get through this difficulty. Bitterness is very different than sadness because it pulls me into action. It drives me. It propels me. That we're allowed to have. That leads us to redemption because I'm no longer standing idle. I'm no longer just sitting and watching life pass me by. And that takes me into my redemption. And so the whole process of life is to come to Paro, not to be afraid, to confront our demons, not to be afraid. And that's why I talk so much about emotional healing, how important it is for me to confront, yes, Hashem, I am angry at my child. Yes, Hashem, I am, disappointed with this. Yes, Hashem, yesterday I had the most amazing hitbodedut in my bed. I really was just so uplifting. It was so beautiful. I felt like I let go of so much stuff that I've been going through this past week, especially with my daughter and my son-in-law being in the hospital. Please daven David Menachem Ben Odette Saada, my son-in-law, and it's just been so difficult. And I just felt like things were accumulating. That's the Paro trying to restrict me, trying to make me feel that the Hashem is no longer with me. God forbid. To everyone, it could happen at any point. I have to go there. What is my redemption? The redemption is tshuva. Not to carry that burden on me. Not to carry those questions with me, to confront them. Boil Paro. Hashem says, I'm waiting for you right there inside your Paro, in the innermost, deepest chamber of Paro. I'm waiting for you, and I'm calling out to you, Bo, come. Come to me. I'm waiting for you there. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you koach ha-mishalech. I'm going to help you get through this mission. But call me. And go there. Don't be afraid, no matter how powerful Paro seems to be taking a hold on every single one of us. Don't be afraid. Know that Hashem is there. Know that Hashem is going to give us koach ha-mishalech. We are here on a godly mission. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be matzliach to shine the light of the Geula and bring the Yeshua and live in a revealed reality of En Od Milvado. Amen. Amen. Any questions, any thoughts, any comments, any anger, any throwing balls at me?
That was very good, thank you.
Thank you.
You said something about bitterness. Bitterness leads you
To act, to break free. Bitter means, this is disgusting. I'm going to run away from this. Like, get me out of here, right? I despise it. And if I despise it, I look to get out of it. There's a big difference. And sadness is just dreariness, right? Okay, we closed it? Oh.